www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
Thank you for tuning into this edition of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. And our guest today is Aubrey Marcus, who is the CEO of a company called Onnit Labs that has 3 new products, one very much for memory and cognition. And with him today is Whitney Miller, who is a champion surfer and a Miss United States.
Yes.
Miss United States sounds very good. So we have Whitney Miller here and Aubrey Marcus. Welcome to Here's to Your Health. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us out.
Happy to have you here. Your company has been around several years.
Correct.
And you have some new cutting-edge products. Mm-hmm. And just by way of history, you mentioned to me that Janet Zand is your stepmom.
She is indeed, yeah.
And Janet Zand has been very influential with many of her great products, Zand products. Everyone kind of in the natural foods industry knows Janet Zand's products. They have been big hits and widely imitated.
Yep.
So that's a very nice pedigree to have.
Sure, and it was great to grow up with that because, as I was growing up, I was always a basketball player, and she was working very closely with Pat Riley and the Lakers at the time. So, of course, I was listening to what she was saying because she's treating these, all-star athletes that we're getting to see all the time. So as I grew up and was an athlete myself and also a creative writer and focused on academics and doing all the things that I was doing, I got used to taking different nutritional supplements and seeing how they affected my performance. And I would basically, remember the things that did well for me and kind of discard the things that didn't work so well for my composition. And that kind of pedigree of learning from her, learning that kind of approach of supplying nutrients for peak performance really translated into creating Onnit.com, Onnit Labs.
And also on an emotional level, as a really young guy learning this, it probably didn't seem foreign, just seemed like that's the way it is. And so you just pick it up and it just becomes easy to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once you get that habit of, knowing that if you eat a certain way or take a nutritional supplement that's supplying your body with some kind of nutrient or some kind of nutritional element, and then seeing how it actually translates to concrete scores, points on the court or, test scores or whatever, you get that philosophy in your head. And once you get that, it becomes addicting. You become addicted to grabbing that peak performance state however you can and maintaining optimal health so you can perform simply the best you can.
And so you've taken the ideas that you've learned over the past 15 or so years, and you have what you feel is a very contemporary formulation?
Absolutely. So I've taken that philosophy and then looked at the very most current, recent research into the newest, best ingredients that I could find. And really what I wanted to do, too, is something I remember from growing up is there was so many supplements that I ended up having that could do something good, but there was just too many. I wouldn't take them. I'd have a whole closet full of these supplements, and I just wouldn't get around to taking all of them. So what I wanted to do is grab all of them that I could and put them in a single supplement around a certain topic, so that if I wanted brain support and cognitive enhancement, I could just take one pill or, a dose of 2, but take one supplement that would allow me to get all of the benefits of all of these amazing nutrients without having to open 9 bottles, pour out 9 different things, measure out the appropriate amounts, worry about taking too many supplements on an empty stomach, all that stuff you have to worry about when you're taking all of these things. Make it simple, make it easy so people could grab it on the go, take it, and still be highly efficacious. And not only highly efficacious, but balanced. So everything was working together in the right ratio.
And we have one of them here. The Alpha Brain, it says for mental dominance, which is nice, and So why don't you tell me?
Better than mental subservience, I suppose.
It's way better. It's way better. So what's the nutrient mix you have here, if you don't mind my asking?
Sure. So what we wanted to do was actually target the neurotransmitters specifically. And the neurotransmitter we were going after primarily was acetylcholine. Acetylcholine in all the cognitive studies you do is responsible for mental speed, sharpness, focus, a wide range of uses for high levels and optimal levels of acetylcholine. The challenge with too much acetylcholine is you can get a little antsy, you can get a little bit on edge.
Oh.
So what we wanted to do was raise your acetylcholine levels as much as possible, but still increase your other neurotransmitter levels like dopamine, like GABA, to create a more balanced effect and mitigate some of the negative side effects of having really powerful acetylcholine supplement. So that's why we call it a balanced nootropic. And the product itself is called Alpha Brain. And we wanted to create a really balanced, elevating effect. So targeting the acetylcholine specifically, we had a two-pronged strategy. We had alpha GPC, which is glycerylphosphorylcholine, which is one of the best raw choline sources for crossing the blood-brain barrier. And so that's going to really provide that raw nutrient source for acetylcholine with that choline. And then we also included a pretty rare herb called Huperzia serrata, which contains an ingredient called huperzine A, which is an acetylcholine esterase inhibitor. And acetylcholine esterase is what breaks down available acetylcholine. So by inhibiting the breakdown of acetylcholine, you just have more available acetylcholine. So we're supplying the raw nutrients and preventing the body from eradicating it and breaking it down. So you end up having a real flush of optimal levels of acetylcholine. The translation is more focus, more memory, more mental speed. We have everybody taking this from your older crowd who is taking it for just enhanced memory, enhanced cognitive performance, to a real kind of performance-based younger crowd. We have professional poker players, we have professional skiers, professional golfers, even some football players who are like AJ Hawk, who's one of our people who really take and enjoy this product. Just seeing the field and being sharp and making those split-second decisions. Actually, one of the other supplements that we have in here is specifically for golfers. It's phosphatidylserine, and that actually influences.
Are you saying golfers are dumb?
No, not at all. In fact, they may be masochistic. Actually, from my experience with golf, it certainly has a tinge of that element. But phosphatidylserine was actually shown in a study to improve golf accuracy from the tee.
Oh, really?
And yeah, really.
Goodness.
It's a pretty interesting study that we actually have on our website on onnit.com showing that. But it increases the kind of the membrane around your brain cells as well, and allows a little more elasticity there. So it allows you to have a little bit more that kind of focus and accuracy in the hand-eye coordination. So really, it's pretty remarkable the benefits of raising your neurotransmitter levels through something like optimizing your acetylcholine level.
And my question is, if at Whitney's age or your age or my age, and we take this, how long did it take before it kicked in for you?
That was one of the remarkable things is, usually with these supplements, you take it and it's about 90% imagination that you think it's working. Yeah, I think it's doing something. Yeah, maybe I feel something. You take this Alpha Brain and you'll feel it. You feel it right away. And that's what all of our customers, that's what's allowed us to grow so exponentially fast, is people take this and they go, oh my God.
So Whitney, when you took this, I assume your health is actually very good.
Yes,
right.
I try.
Right. and so you do everything responsible for keeping good health, eating carefully, exercise, cleaner environment. Okay. So when you tried this,
to an extent, yeah.
When you tried the Alpha Brain, did you see something in one dose, in 1 day, in 2 days? What was it? Was it right away?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was actually working overnight on television, and so I really needed something to help me get through the night. And I took Alpha Brain for, about a week, and then I stopped. And when I stopped, I was just all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. And so I remember that first week I was on my game. I knew everything. And it's crazy how well it works.
Yeah, it's pretty unique that you feel it. And one of the other effects, which is kind of an interesting side effect that we certainly weren't targeting, is we started taking it and everybody started saying, hey, did you have some crazy dreams last night? And everybody started talking about that. And we're like, I did, yeah. And so we looked into it and did some more research. And acetylcholine is part of what regulates your REM state. So by having an optimum acetylcholine level, you end up having a deeper and richer REM, which is your dream state. So the REM state ends up lasting a bit longer, and you have these wild, sometimes lucid, but often vivid dreams. So that was something else that happened right away. I mean, from the first dose, people were coming back like, oh my goodness, like what happened in these dreams?
Right. It's impressive when people use nutrients and they can get such a clear result so very quickly. Because I remember years ago reading Carl Pfeiffer, Zinc and Other Micronutrients, and he was talking about using B6 to absorb zinc, but also how B6 was involved with dream recall.
Yep.
And people are shocked they could suddenly remember their dreams from just taking B6. So these
B6 is actually in this supplement. B6 is a great catalyzer. It allows things to transfer from nutrient to neurotransmitter. So it helps all of our other ingredients in there as well, the L-theanine, the L-tyrosine, the GPC choline, and even some of our other ingredients that we use to round out the formula, which are more on the antioxidant side to really eliminate that kind of mental fog, that free radical burden that kind of keeps us foggy. And for those of us who aren't, disciplined, we know that feeling when we've eaten some bad food or maybe had a few drinks. You just feel a little off, a little foggy, and a lot of that is that kind of free radical burden that's built up in some of those areas in your brain. And we licensed a proprietary ingredient called AC11, which they refined from cat's claw, which is an indigenous herb of the rainforest, and they have a proprietary process for basically concentrating that to a really high level. It's a company out of New York State called Optogenics, and that's another one of our real kind of secret bullets in this formula, something that no other cognitive formula has.
And the AC11 is used as an anti-cancer substance? How is it being used?
No, it's being used as the studies that they've done some clinical studies, and it's been shown to actually repair DNA. So a lot of the application has been in this anti-aging kind of keeping yourself youthful by actually repairing the DNA of your cells. So it goes beyond what an antioxidant normally does, which is eliminating the free radical burden. This actually influences your DNA to repair itself. So it's just a super powered ingredient that's going to really be tonifying for the whole body, but particularly good for the brain in kind of keeping you sharp, as well as, the other ingredients, like I mentioned, raising your acetylcholine level, the tyrosine supporting your dopamine system, and the L-theanine, which is that amino that's in green tea that keeps you energized but relaxed, so that people don't get hyper on this. So a golfer, when he's about to stroke, isn't too agitated, or a poker player, when things aren't going well, stays even keel while maintaining that super high mental function.
For those of you just tuning in to Here's to Your Health, we're chatting with Aubrey Marcus and Whitney Miller from Onnit Labs about a very contemporary new formulation, which really, it seems like a nice contemporary formulation.
Absolutely.
Good for you. This seems like a good. And but where can I buy this, by the way?
Onnit.com is the best place to get it. We have a warehouse out in Austin, Texas. Our product is manufactured here in the United States as well, and we'll get it right out to you. That's ONNIT.com. There's 2 N's in Onnit, and that's the best place to get it.
And the recommendation, say for someone, is it just 2 a day? Is 2 a day what you recommend?
Yeah, 2 a day is pretty much the balance. Now we have, some individuals like AJ Hawk, a middle linebacker, big dude, he'll take more. He'll take 3 to 4 in a day, but he's a large, voracious individual.
Right.
And then we have some people who just 1 pill is plenty for them, and they don't really need to take 2. But 2 is kind of the median. That's where we recommend we start, and then, kind of gauge it from there.
Whitney, are you taking 2?
I take 1 to 2. No more than that, though.
Is your mom using it?
I'm not sure. I think she may be. I know my dad is.
Have you been able to influence your parents a little bit? They kind of listen to you? It's always lovely, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Say, Mom and Dad, this is good. And they think, oh, my God, you're right. It actually is good. Okay, that's right.
Yeah. They can believe me now.
Yeah. It's nice because it's hard to, after all, if there's anyone you want to convince, it's your parents, right?
Right.
For sure.
They've been taking care of me, so now it's my turn to help them out a little bit.
And how did you get involved with, I'll say, improved nutrition? This is kind of in that category. How did you get involved with this?
With Onnit.
With Onnit and with the idea of nutrition in general?
Well, I've been an athlete my entire life, so I've known I had to take care of my body through any competition. Mm-hmm. And I actually got with Onnit when I was competing for the Miss United States pageant, and they sponsored.
And where's that held, Miss United States?
In Washington, D.C. during the 4th of July that weekend, so it was fun. But I was Miss Texas, and I met Aubrey and got a sponsorship through them and started taking all of their products.
which really wasn't fair. She came in for a sponsorship, and the answer was yes before she even asked what was going on. So I don't know. That's an unfair tactic.
So no,
but it seemed
it worked.
Improved nutrition is kind of unfair. Is that over the other women because you just you were healthier? Is that it? So you looked better.
That was it. It was her health. It was her health that got me.
I guess so.
I
could see it emanating.
I could see that too.
Out of herself.
Well, health and beauty really, it really does run hand in hand. It just really, really does. I know it sounds kind of boring to say, but really, health and beauty. So.
Yeah, well, you can kind of sense that. I really think that's what beauty was an indicator of at the very core level. It was an indicator of health, and I
would say so.
On an instinctual level, for reproductive purposes, I think really that was a key marker. And obviously now we have other ways of sensing it, and there's other things you can do, but and it's not just beauty of the skin or the eyes or the hair. It's that
helps.
That helps. Certainly it helps. But there's an inner radiance that comes from someone that's healthy. That's attractive. It draws you to them when you can feel that they're really in mind, body, and spirit, just really fluid and clear and healthy.
What kind of program do you follow for yourself?
I usually do a workout probably 2 to 3 times a week with their products, actually, the kettlebells and the battle ropes that they have, which kill me.
Kettlebells
and battle ropes. And you can also get those at onit.com. And then I take the other product. They have Shroom Tech Sport.
What is that one again?
Shroom Tech Sport. He can probably tell you a little bit more about it.
Well, how does it make you feel, first of all, before I describe it?
So I have motivational problems when it comes to working out. I try.
You have to be dragged into the gym, is that it?
Sometimes I do. But if I have Shroom Tech Sport, if I take my Shroom Tech Sport before I go work out, I'm guaranteed to have a good workout. Okay. If I don't, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get on the treadmill and then get bored and leave.
Gotcha.
So as long as I have my Shroom Tech Sport, I'm on point and I'm working out. I mean, my last workout was the hardest workout I've ever had, and it's because I was on Shroom Tech Sport.
And what's the raw materials? What's the materials?
So the secret bullet in that Shroom Tech Sport ingredient is.
And can you spell that for me?
Yeah, SHROOMTECH.
Okay.
And it'll make sense when I describe the key ingredient, which is the Cordyceps sinensis mushroom. Right. And we were looking for something that would give you a lot of energy and vitality in the gym, but wasn't a strong stimulant, because all of these pre-workout supplements are just really strong stimulant. Right. I remember I took some before I would play basketball, and I just tried it this one time, and I went up to the free throw line, and my foot was tapping, and I was looking around at the audience. I was like, I hope the crowd doesn't see this. I hope my coach doesn't see this. I hope the ref doesn't see this. This is ridiculous, because it's such a strong stimulant. Right. You can't really play sports on it. So, I have a lot of professional athletes who are friends, fighters, skiers, golfers, football players, and I wanted something that they could take the day of the game and that I would be happy taking every day, that wouldn't be like one of these really strong stimulant things that are just pushing your adrenal glands to squeeze out some more energy via caffeine. So what I found was the Cordyceps sinensis mushroom, and it really kind of burst onto the scene in the early 80s when the Chinese female marathon team, started breaking all these world records, and they tested them for doping and tested them left and right, and they came up clean. And they finally asked the coach, "What are you giving these girls?" Because they were actually running a marathon a day in preparation for running their unheard of. Whoa. And he said, "Well, I was giving them Cordyceps sinensis mushroom, which at the time was one of the most expensive nutritional supplements in the world, because they had to wild harvest it up from really high altitudes in Tibet and in China. And it's a mushroom that has been shown to increase both oxygen utilization. So the more out of the oxygen you breathe in, more of it is getting to your muscles. And they've done some very good clinical studies on this, improving your oxygen utilization by up to 50%, which is dramatic. And they can test this via a mask. So you're breathing in oxygen, and they just measure what you're breathing out, and then what you're not breathing out is what you're taking in. And so that has a pretty profound effect in itself on the athlete, because obviously what you're trying to do when you're huffing and puffing is supply oxygen to the muscles anyways. So by improving your oxygen utilization, each one of these breaths you take is providing more oxygen for your muscles.
Right.
So a really effective mechanism there. It also has raw adenosine, which helps improve your ATP cycle itself, which is your cellular energy cycle, as opposed to your glandular energy cycle, which is all caffeine based. So the combination of improving your oxygen utilization and giving you cellular energy, it just gets you in the gym, gets you feeling good, and you just don't want to leave. I mean, it's pretty remarkable when you take it. You'll finish your workout and you'll be looking around. Oh, there's a leg press machine. I might as well do some of those. It's a thought that you've never had cross your mind when you're in the gym until you get, you start feeling this good. Feeling like you're a, really top athlete is how it makes you feel, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're, going in for a quick spin in your spin class or heading into your aerobics class, or you're a top level athlete that's going to take it the day of competition, like someone like AJ Hawk or some of these other top level athletes, professional fighters that are all taking it. So around the cordyceps sinensis, as I do with all my formulas, I try to provide supporting nutrients as well. So we have a very good form of B12, methylcobalamin, which is methyl B12, easier assimilated, also has no other residue from the cyanocobalamin, which actually produces a very small molecule of cyanide, which is the normal type of B12 you get, which sounds scary, but it's a very small amount. But still, methylcobalamin is a better form of B12. Mm-hmm. A little bit of green tea extract, standardized towards the antioxidant properties, and then some tonifying adaptogenic herbs, rhodiola, Siberian ginseng. We have a really strong, excellent 200-to-1 extract of Siberian ginseng. And putting it all together, it just feels clean, feels good, and leaves you wanting to do more.
And what's the name of that product again?
Shroom Tech Sport.
And how many of those are you taking, Whitney?
I believe I take 2 to 3. 3.
Yep.
Is that per day or once a week or how often?
Before you work out.
So you work out like once, twice, 3 times a week, you said?
Right, right. So 2 to 3 times a week.
So it actually kicks in that very day?
Oh, yeah. You take it about, 30, 45 minutes before the workout? I keep using the football example. Maybe it's because the playoffs are on and the Super Bowl is coming up.
For sure,
but so someone like AJ Hawk, he'll take, I recommend it's about 1 pill per 50 pounds of body weight. So he's close to 250. So he's taking around 4 to 5 of those before the game. And then he loves it so much, he takes some more at halftime. And, if anybody's watched him play, he's a really energetic and flying around the field, a good player. And that's kind of his regime. Myself, I'm close to 200 pounds. I'll take close to 4 of these about, 30 minutes or 40 minutes before. Sometimes I just take 3 if I want to be fair to the gym, if I don't want to hurt it too bad,
Gotcha.
then I'll take that.
So you have found that the athletes many of the athletes are very sophisticated on taking care of themselves now with exercise and with supplementation and careful diet, that I don't think the athletes necessarily had that consciousness 15 or so years ago. I'm not saying some of them didn't, but it seems that a large number of young athletes get all this now and they just do it as a matter of course. It's not a particularly big deal.
There's both sides. It's been interesting. I spent some time in the Green Bay locker room area, and
Do you know Brady Papinga?
I don't know him personally, but I know, I know the name well, of course.
He's been on the show, and he's a very clean liver.
Absolutely, yeah. And you'll see both sides. You'll see some of those people who are just so naturally raw, athletic that they can eat, most ridiculous foods prior to a meal and still perform. Right. If I tried to eat, some macaroni and cheese to fuel me for a four-quarter game, I'd die. I don't know what would happen. It'd be a disaster, but they're able to do that. But you're seeing more and more the consciousness coming in and people realizing, oh, hey, if I put this in my body, if I take these supplemental nutrients, I'm going to perform better. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to think better, both on and off the court of the field and just in regular everyday life. Most of us aren't professional athletes, but, by looking at their example sometimes, we can really see, even if we ratchet down their intensity, we can see a proper way to do things to optimize our own efficiency.
Now, when you work with professional athletes, these young men are powerhouses. Everyone wants to talk to them. They're earning huge sums of money, and they're young gladiators. So has it been difficult for you to get close to them, or do they already know you have a reputation, so they think they're willing to listen to you now?
It's been interesting. The product itself started getting so much momentum that we ended up fielding. We would see orders come through from our website like, oh, AJ Hawk out of Green Bay. Yep, that's a professional athlete. Maybe I'll send a message along with this one. And we'd get these other professional fighters, tons of them coming in, ordering like, yeah, I know that guy. I'm going to send him a message too. And once they're already taking the product and liking it, the negotiation gets a lot easier. A lot of times we've been able to even circumvent their management and, kind of representation, the big deal contracts, because they're like, look, this is a product I like. It's almost, at that point, you're like a friend and family type of company, as opposed to someone who's really going out and targeting some big name on the other side. And most of the big names we have, from actors to musicians to athletes, have come that way. It's almost been product first, and hey, let's see what we can do with this company later, which has been a real blessing.
Right. That's always very nice. And then I guess one athlete might tell another athlete, or might not,
Absolutely.
looking for that little bit of advantage over the other guy who's also a very good athlete, but doesn't quite get the nutrition thing.
Yeah.
No, so I find that sometimes they don't tell the other guy, because they think, no, it's just you busy drinking Gatorade, that's great, and I'm going to not do that.
Yeah, you don't want to give your backup some Onnit Labs products and get him eating the proper nutrition if he's coming right up on you. But
once again, on these products from Onnit Lab, how can I purchase these?
ONNIT.com. Onnit.com is the best way to do it. We have package deals. We have a lot of incentives for you to just order directly from us. We also have some distribution through stores, but the best and most assured way to get the product is Onnit.com, ONNIT.com. And we have some other things on there too, some functional foods and some fitness equipment, as Whitney alluded to. Basically, everything we've done on the fitness side is mimicking what we've seen from these top athletes, the Bodie Millers, the AJ Hawks, the professional fighters that we have, and taken those and said, hey, if they're doing these workouts themselves, we can just ratchet down the intensity and still get that short burst of efficiency that these guys are getting without having to take it to that extreme level. And really, everybody's really taken, especially to the kettlebells and the battle ropes. I think those have been new for you.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
they've really made an impact in your fitness level, I think, as well.
Yeah, I love them.
And you surf pretty regularly?
I try. We're in Austin, so Central Texas is a little hard to get
Not
to
too much
the
surfing
surf.
in Austin, no, really,
but we do
but
have lakes, so
on the coast,
I
really.
can, head out on the lake sometimes.
And do you find that's a particularly difficult sport, as far as you have to be strong to work with the board, etc.?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have to paddle out, you have to fight the surf. You have to be in shape to be able to surf, and Stream Tech Sport and everything else they have definitely helps.
And so what was the name of the title you just won?
Miss United States.
And Miss United States, you're competing against at least 50 other young women?
Right, that's right.
Well, if you take it down to the basic, because there's a city queen, and then there's a state queen. I mean, how many people do you think ultimately field into the organization before
I
finally
don't know,
there's
thousands. I mean, you can have your main city, and then you'll have little suburb cities outside of that, so it can just grow and grow and grow. But ultimately, you have one state, and they go to compete at the national pageant, and then you win from there.
And how many years along do the organization? I mean, do you have girls in there who are 14 compete on that level, and then 16-year-old girls and 18-year-old girls? Is that it?
Right. You have age groups, and so this particular one, they have teen, miss, and a Ms., which is a older division. So
What, the Ms. is the over 35 division or something?
I think you just have to be divorced.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Well, a successful marriage.
Kind of sorry I asked,
Well, you
but
have
okay.
to have children.
Okay, oh, gotcha. Okay.
She doesn't know.
You have to have children.
That doesn't sound right at all.
Like,
You have
hold
to be
on, let me
divorced.
think about
Just
this.
penalties for
That's
good
right.
marriages
That's right.
here.
That's right.
in this
Well, if you
organization.
have children, you can compete in the Ms.
Okay.
Anybody trying to compete in Ms. Don't listen to Whitney's description.
I'll accept that.
She's
That's
pretty
fine.
keen on her own division, but any
sounds
other
fine.
further division.
Yeah, I'm in the middle, the Miss.
All right.
Not married, no children.
And for those of you tuning in, you're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. And we're speaking to Aubrey Marcus and Whitney Miller from Onnit Labs. And once again, how can I get in contact with your company?
Yeah, the best way is just check out the website. We have all our information, all our foods, supplements, fitness products. It's ONNIT.com, Onnit.com. And, really, Onnit for us is about being in peak performance. It's kind of an expression that we would use ourselves, like, whoa, he was on it today. Meaning like he really brought his A game. He really was maximized in peak performance. So we turn that into the very brand of our company, because that's what our company's about for whoever you are, optimizing your performance as a human being, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're a professional athlete or whether you just want to feel a little better, think a little clearer, do the Thursday crossword instead of the Wednesday crossword,
Sure.
or beat your neighbor more regularly in chess, or
Sure.
sleep a little better, whatever it is. We wanted to create supplements that could help everyday people and help elite athletes and elite performers.
Now, we talked about the Alpha Brain for cognition and ability focus. And what was the name of your cordyceps product?
Shroom Tech Sport.
And do you have also a third product?
Yeah, we do. We have a product called New Mood, which is actually one of her favorites. How does
Yeah,
that?
it's definitely one of my favorites. I take it right before I go to bed, and depending on what kind of day you've had, regardless if it's you're just been super busy at work, you've had the kids, you had a hard workout, or you're just in a bad mood, whatever it is, just take it right before you go to sleep, and it has this calming effect to where you just feel better. It really just gives you a new mood and helps you sleep, and you don't wake up drowsy or anything like that, and you feel great when you wake up.
And what's the name of that product?
New Mood.
New Mood.
Yes.
And what are the ingredients? Can you tell
So
me?
the ingredients, we really wanted to boost serotonin primarily with that product. So we included both L-tryptophan and 5-HTP. Now, so as you know, L-tryptophan converts to 5-HTP, and then 5-HTP converts to serotonin. So by including both of them, which almost no supplements do, I was shocked to see this. It's almost like a time release effect. So the 5-HTP converts to serotonin quickly. Serotonin is 5-HT, by the way. And so the 5-HTP converts quickly. The L-tryptophan then follows along the chain. So you almost get this timed release serotonin boost that works really excellently at night, also combined with vitamin B6 to kind of release and optimize that cycle as it goes through. Then we combine that with some magnesium to relax your muscles a little bit, and some really relaxing anti-stress herbs as well. Valerian, chamomile, things that we're going to kind of ease the tension, drop your shoulders a little bit, and make you feel a little bit more relaxed. So while the Alpha Brain's going to get you feeling really intensely focused and on your game, the Shroom Tech Sport's going to give you an outstanding workout. We wanted something at the end of the day, when you're ready to let it all go, put on the cozy slippers, have a cup of tea and drift off into a nice dream-filled sleep. We wanted to create a supplement for that. And so that's where New Mood came about.
Well, these formulations sound very contemporary. So,
Absolutely.
Aubrey Whitney from On It Labs, I'd like to thank you for being guest today on Here's to Your Health.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope to have you back shortly.
I would love it.
You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Josh Lane. We'll be back shortly after these important messages.
Your skin looks great.
Thank you.
What's your secret?
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence.
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence?
Yes, it's a beauty secret used since the time of the Greeks and Romans. The spa in Malibu told me about frankincense and myrrh by Ancient Essence, and now my skin is lovely.
Well, your skin looks great.
Call Ancient Essence at 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Call 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret. Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Available at fine spas and beauty centers.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. One capsule once a day is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit Solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. And our guest now is Ann Gentry of Real Foods Daily, very possibly the premier natural foods restaurant in town. And I say that not because Ann's a guest here, but because I've eaten in a restaurant many times, and I think it's a fantastic restaurant. I think the food is fantastic. Ann Gentry, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for having me back.
My pleasure, my pleasure. What are you going to be preparing today for us?
Well, I'm going to prepare 2 wraps, one with nori, which is a sea vegetable, and the other with fresh collard greens. These are so easy to do in your house. Of course, we serve them at Real Food Daily, and yes, Josh, I agree with you.
Thank you.
Of course, we are the premier plant-based restaurant here in Southern California. I'm wetting my fingertips because rice is sticky, and you want sticky rice when you go to make your nori. I'm lying my piece of nori down on a little sushi roll, very inexpensive thing to have in your house. And I already made rice this morning at my house, and it's cooled down. Half of it was short grain brown rice, and the other half was a sweet rice, because you want a sticky sushi type rice. And for those that would like to just buy the sushi white rice out on the marketplace, that's perfectly okay.
I'm sorry, what kind of rice did you use again?
I use brown rice, short grain brown rice, and a sweet brown rice.
Alrighty.
So that's what gives it the kind of sticky sweetness that we're used to in sushi rice, because usually sushi rice in sushi restaurants will have a fair amount of sugar added to it.
And you use no sugar?
No sugar.
Correct.
No reason to use any sugar. And because you have the sweet rice. So what you want to do is you want to lie the rice down, think about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch thinness. You want to put it over the diameter of the nori. You're going to go right to the edge, leaving about 1/4 of an inch at the edge up closest to you, as well as the sides. You do that so that the rice doesn't start to fall out of the nori. And then you go up. I leave a little bit more. I leave probably about 1 inch at the top. So you'll see why when we go to roll it, so that you'll be able to roll it and all of it will stay intact. This is a great dish that can be served as an appetizer. We, of course, serve it at Real Food Daily. Goes great with wine, really nice little thing to have in the afternoon with a friend if you want to have a little reprise after a long day at work. I'm using something that is called, now this is something I want to share with people. This is called umeboshi paste. It comes from a pickled plum. They also make it into a vinegar, and they make it into this wonderful paste. It gives this dish a tartness, a little kick. It's really unique. It's a medicinal food. It's great to always have in your refrigerator. You do use it sparingly.
And what's the name of that product again?
Umeboshi. Umeboshi. Okay, so back to my nori. I've got my nori, the rice, the umeboshi. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sesame seeds. I'm going to lay down a collard green that I just lightly steam. Now, these are the same greens that I'm going to use when we make our collard wrap, but these have been cooked and these have not been cooked. You know, greens are really popular these days. People are loving them, and it is a lot of fun to see that people are getting into the nutritional impact of what greens can do. Used to be, people knew about greens because they'd go to some big catering party at a hotel, and kale was lining the table as a decor. But no, you can actually eat your greens both cooked and raw. So now I've also laid down something else that's a little unique and odd, and this is called Shiso leaves, Shiso. And this also gives it a beautiful color and also another little kick. And these can easily be found in a natural food store all across the country. And also, if you didn't have these two ingredients, no problem, you could still make this roll. Cucumber, carrot, everybody can get that. And a little bit of avocado.
Excuse me, is the carrot cooked?
You can leave it raw. I steamed it. It's nice because if it's raw, it's a little too crunchy. You know, so it's nice to just lightly steam it. Of course, you don't need to do that to the cucumber. And then the big piece, the big element here in this sushi roll, because we're not using fish, is tempeh. Tempeh is a whole soy. You know, there's a lot of controversy these days about soy. And you got a lot of people running around thinking that they have a soy allergy. Some do, I'm sure. Many don't. But whole soy that's non-GMO, that's grown organically, and you can see the whole soybeans in this tempeh, which is a fermented patty. The fermentation is great for people's digestive, really good for the flora in your intestinal tract. So people can eat soy, but they want to eat whole soy, edamame, tofu, tempeh, miso. That's where you're going to get your good quality soy.
And that tempeh is that's a fermented soy product.
Fermented soy product. They created it in Indonesia. If you'll notice, all these other cultures figured out great things to do with soy. Indonesia made tempeh, Chinese made tofu, the Japanese came up with miso and tamari, good quality soy sauce. My fingers are wet again. You must have your fingers wet, so always have a little bowl. And here we go, we get to roll. And this is a lot easier than it looks. It takes a little mastering for maybe somebody that's never done it, but it's so easy. You have to have the sushi mat because that helps keep everything in line. I take a little water and, you know, I'm thinking the water is sort of like glue. It's going to help hold the nori around the vegetables. Now, you roll, and notice how I pull the roll away as I roll. People come to my class and they roll the roll in the nori, and then they go, how do I get it out?
Right. Gives you extra fiber that way.
I say you unroll it and it'll come out. So now when you get to the end, then you can really use your sushi mat and roll the thing around and just gently, gently work it. Again, people in my class will squeeze it, stack it, and that's not necessary. Anyway, here we go. Look, a sushi roll. Now this is a big one. You know, I could have put a lot less in it. Now, when I go to travel, this is something that I always travel with. I run into my restaurants and I say, make the nori maki for me, don't cut it. If you see out here, we've cut it in the pieces, which I'm about to show you how. You need a very sharp knife. This is when you know if your home knife is sharp enough when you go to cut your sushi, because if you can't easily get through it, you need to have your knife sharpened. You want to put a little water on it. That helps it not stick. You want to go right down the middle. Now, I like to stop here when I'm going on a trip, and I will take this and eat this. This is great airplane food, which, by the way, Real Food Daily is about to open in Los Angeles International Airport. We'll be the first organic plant-based restaurant in any airport in this country, and we believe on the planet.
Well, that's actually very nice. And so at LAX Airport, Real Foods Daily is opening.
Yes.
And when will that be?
That's a good question.
Sorry I asked that one.
No, it's happening. It is definitely happening. You know, it's these big projects take a long time. But it looks like May, June. And June, we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary right here in Los Angeles. 20 years ago, I opened in Santa Monica. Who would have thunk it that here we are with West Hollywood and Pasadena and soon to be LAX. These are really big rolls. You could really cut these in half and have them to be a little bit more dainty.
And what's the value of eating the nori? I mean, why am I eating nori?
Nori is a sea vegetable. It's great. It's loaded with minerals. It's great for your skin. It has a lot of nutritional value that way. It's tasty. It's easy. It's inexpensive. It's easy to find in all kinds of grocery stores across the country. And it's really pretty. And as you can see, so easy to work with. So that is our nori roll.
And does that travel pretty well? Does it spoil? What's my shelf life on that?
Great question, Josh. Definitely, you could 24 hours. You could have this out, and you'd be fine. Right. And also, I want to say to folks, you know, you can also get very creative, and you can decide what you want to put in it. There's a lot of variety of different vegetables that you can play around with. This is just a beginning to show people how easy it is. I also have kids. This is a great lunch meal, believe it or not. I may not put all of that in it. I sometimes just do the rice, the avocado, keep it a little bit more simple for those young, picky eaters, but it's definitely a fun and easy thing to do. So, got my little helper off camera here, thank you.
So your restaurant, Real Foods Daily, and where exactly is it in Los Angeles?
We have 3 locations. Santa Monica, downtown Santa Monica, right off the promenade on Santa Monica Boulevard between 5th and 6th Street. West Hollywood on La Cienega between Beverly and Melrose, and out in Pasadena, right off Lake Avenue at Del Mar. Mm-hmm. We go 7 days a week. We have an incredible menu that goes all day long. In fact, we just did a big renovation of our menu, new format. Have you been in and seen it?
Not since the new menu.
Oh, yes, which leads me right into this dish. This is one of our new dishes called Tunut. Yes, it is our play, I suppose, on a tuna. Even though I never like to think that that's what we're doing at Real Food Daily, that we're trying to mimic or replace any of the things that one wouldn't really be eating at a plant-based restaurant. We've taken almonds, made our own dressing out of nori and dulse, another sea vegetable, and avocado, and we have a couple of other things. This is a secret recipe that one day will come out in a cookbook, way off into the future, no promises. But this is a dynamite dish that we serve as a salad with avocado and cherry tomatoes on regular bread, a great sprouted whole wheat bread, also a gluten-free bread from a local bakery here in LA that's making some great hearty artesian bread that happens to be gluten-free, and then we make it on the wrap. So collard greens, you want to take the tough vein out of the collard green because that's not fun to eat, because you want this really nice soft collard green that I have marinated, so to speak, or really not marinated. I've rubbed it with a little olive oil and lemon juice because you want to soften the collard green, make it more pliable to enjoy eating it more, as well as to make it easier to roll. So you see that it's all shiny and
while you're rolling that,
soft.
Let me just say that you're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, and Ann Gentry, owner of Real Foods Daily, is giving us a cooking demonstration. And Ann, you have 3 restaurants in LA and soon to have a 4th at the airport.
Yes.
So you actually kind of work, you're kind of busy.
I'm busy. That's for sure.
Kind of busy. Yeah.
Things are happening in my life on every level. Oh, so I'm now, just so you see, I'm taking one piece of a collard green, laying it down. You see it has a little hole in the middle, sort of like a donut. I need to cover that up. So you just play. I rip that piece apart, and I want to layer a few of them so that I've got a nice, base to
And that's
roll
collard green.
from.
You're working with collard green.
I'm
now.
working with collard greens. Hard to use any other kind of green. The kale's too curly, and you want the flatness of the collard green if you're going to make a roll. This is the final product.
Excuse me,
You
are
can
those
see it
collard
here.
greens organic?
Of course.
Okay, just checking.
Yes, at Real Food Daily, our commitment to organic is huge. I am always honest, transparent with people. It's not 100%.
Right.
85 to 90% on a daily basis, not just our produce, but our ingredients, our whole grains, our soy products, flours, beans, legumes, oils. We're going for it. We're really doing it. And it can be done. And it's out there, it's growing in this country, it's accessible, and it's affordable. It truly is, because it's about your health. Who would want to eat something that's been sprayed with pesticides?
Right.
So I won't go down that path today. But
I also find that organic collard greens taste sweet.
yes, they are.
They taste sweet.
They really do taste sweet, yes. So I'm going to take my 2-nut, just like I would a peanut butter or another spread.
And what are the ingredients of that spread?
The basis is almonds that we are using and adding a dressing that we make ourselves. So this is veganese or mayonnaise or, eggless mayonnaise free. We're making our own out of avocado and some sea vegetables and a couple of other condiments to really give it a very unique taste.
And may I ask you a question about your new restaurant opening up at the airport?
Yes.
Did the city fathers approach you? I mean, how did that work? Because it seems like it's a very good thing for Los Angeles to have a important, careful restaurant at the airport. People get tired of eating, I won't mention brand names, they get tired of eating that stuff that think, why am I eating this?
Well, that's what's happening. Let me cut these tomatoes. I can see that. That's what's happening in LAX, is that LAX is changing its whole terrain of food. They're bringing in the flavors of Los Angeles. They're reached out.
Good for
I was
them.
approached. There's several different people that oversee and run the various different food concessions in these big, something like an airport or a college campus or a stadium or a sporting arena. And they're out in LAX. They've been out there with the brands and concepts that they're trying to move now away from and really bring in a taste and flavor of what we do here in Los Angeles, because we have a very unique culinary terrain that's out there with so much to offer on all kinds of levels, from high end to low end to street. In fact, we're in Terminal 4. That's the American Airlines terminal, and American West, which happens to be the busiest domestic terminal there in LAX. And we're going in with about 5 other LA concepts. And one of them is going to be a food truck. And, we all know the popularity of food trucks. And so the food truck will come in, and they're going to change that food concept probably quarterly in the food truck to indeed represent the various different food trucks that are out, on our streets here in LA. So now I have to roll it.
Okay.
And it seems a little daunting for some reason. So, one thing I love to tell people, I do love to teach. I will be teaching in Pasadena in the middle of February. You can go on the Real Food website, realfood.com, and find out some information about that. And I love to teach because I love to share with people that you just have to trust yourself and learn how to play. I always tell people in the beginning, follow the recipe to the T in the beginning, and then you're free to improv the next time you want to make it. In many ways, there's no right way to have to do anything. And rolling this roll, which I haven't done in a long time, is the same thing. You just got to be free to go, that lettuce need to get cracked. I needed to cut those tomatoes. There it is. Look how simple that was. I actually did it. Yay.
That looks very nice.
Yes. Now here, I'm less worried about my wet knife because this is so wet, very different than the nori. Oh, look at that. How gorgeous that is. So
it
you
looks
see
very
all
nice.
the tuna, a little bit of the lettuce and the tomato. You could put sprouts in this. You could add cucumbers. You could add avocado into it. Again, playing with your favorite things that you enjoy eating.
And Anne, my question is, when you run into family or friends who are eating, I'll say not so carefully,
Yes.
and you try to convince them to try eating a nori roll, what do you emphasize? Just how lovely it looks, or how do you convince them they should try something new?
How do I do that? Uh, well, because people listen to me.
Oh, that's
and they
good.
do
That's
whatever
good.
it is I tell
That's
them to
very
do.
good. That's good. Yeah. Really? Even family? Really? Family listens? That's very nice.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I have these two kids. My daughter's becoming more and more adventurous as she becomes a teenager. But, my son, people think my kids are eating like saints, and truly they're not. They're kids. And my son, everything's white or beige, and it's pasta bread with some sugar thrown in, and a dessert, and some more pasta and bread. And he'd be a happy camper. So hopefully, he'll break out of that at some point. But no, when people come into Real Food Daily and they have been dragged in by a friend who wants to eat a plant-based meal, they're a little leery of it, but they've gone along for the ride. And, we have a great service staff that is playful and picks up on that with people. And we have dishes, tacos, Salisbury seitan, fabulous specials, a club sandwich, a Reuben. These are things, these comfort foods that people can relate to.
Sure.
And so they're much more willing to try. And for the most part, they really end up loving them. And nobody really leaves Real Food Daily going, I didn't like it. One of the best compliments I ever got was from a businessman. This was 10 years ago. I was in Santa Monica and sort of, working the door and greeting people and saying goodbye. And a gentleman in a business suit, heavy-set guy, goes to leave, turns around and said, when I came in here, I didn't really know what this restaurant was. I had a great meal, and about midway through it, I realized there's no meat in this dish I'm eating. And I loved it. And I will be back. And indeed he did. I used to see him all the time. So I can tell a lot of stories like that where people are changing. They may never become a vegan in this lifetime or even a vegetarian, but they're willing to eat healthier foods, eat less meat. People are doing Meatless Monday. That's a very successful campaign all over the world, not just in this country, but in Europe. And people are willing to give it a try. And they come to Real Food Daily, most people, trying to look to see, well, what is possible for me? Here we go with another row. This one will be a little smaller.
And by the way, I noticed you have these two lovely cookbooks. Are these out now?
Oh, yes, these are out. My first cookbook came out in 2005. The Real Food Daily Cookbook has many of our favorite dishes that we're still serving today in the book. One of our favorites, the nachos that people come from far and wide to get, and that's our tortilla chips, black bean, our cheese. We make this great cheese out of cashews. That's in the book. The second book came out about 2 summers ago, and that's called Vegan Family Meals. That's my family on the cover, and this is more of how we're eating at home. And, some people have been critical of my book in the sense that they think it's too complex. But if you want to make food taste good, you do have to do things to them. You've got to use herbs and spices. And herbs and spices are available anywhere in the country. They're accessible. They're easy to find. And you've got to take these very basic, simple foods, vegetables, whole grains, that on their own don't have a lot of flavor, just like chicken and steak doesn't have a lot of flavor unless you do something to them. Marinate them, enhance them, bring out their flavors by using herbs and spices. So in Vegan Family Meals, I talk in the beginning of the book telling people to set up their kitchen. You can't cook unless you've got your pantry filled. And I learned that as a mother. As a single woman and with my husband before we had kids, eating in restaurants, mostly our own, I never had anything in my refrigerator. But once you have kids, you wake up and you realize you got to feed these people.
Right.
They're looking to you to feed them every day because they can't do it yet.
Yes.
And you gotta go shopping. And you gotta stock things and have it. Now my problem at home is everybody's eating it too fast. It's like that should last the week.
Not with young boys in the house. No, it doesn't really.
Well, between a husband and a son, like cereal at midnight, and it's like the next morning, where's the cereal? Got eaten last night. So, but plant-based foods have been around for forever, And I think that there is a resurgence of people getting very excited about vegetables again. You've got high-end restaurants, trendy restaurants, grilling, roasting vegetables, presenting vegetables in really simple, basic ways. And people are flocking for them and loving them. And, our mothers and grandmothers were right. You do have to eat your vegetables. And it's very important, and it's where you're getting so much of, vitamin A, D, all of the nutritional value is packed in these beautiful vegetables. Look at the color. And the beautiful thing is that the color, the texture, the methods of how you can prepare vegetables from raw to living to steamed to grilled to roasted to parboiled, it's endless. And it is simple. You can keep it very simple, or you can go up a notch and get very gourmet and use a lot of herbs and spices. But it is so important. And I think we're stuck in this country of eating way too many carbohydrates,
Yes.
way too much animal protein, and we really forget about vegetables. And, and I mean beyond ketchup and beyond
Yes.
a potato
Right.
and beyond, some little, sort of deadbeat, salad with some, out of season tomatoes thrown on it. So it's endless vegetables. I suppose that should be my next cookbook, vegetables.
And your cookbooks, where can I buy these?
You can buy those at my store, Real Food Daily,
Right.
on my website, realfood.com, at amazon.com, barnesandnobles.com, national bookstores, the few that are left,
Right.
both independents as well as the national chains that are still with us. Yes, it's out there. And if you don't see it, ask for it in the bookstore, and they can certainly source it and bring it to you.
And Anne, where are your restaurants again? Real Foods Daily, where are they?
Restaurants are in Santa Monica, 514 Santa Monica Boulevard, between 5th and 6th. That's 2 blocks off the very famous 3rd Street Promenade. La Cienega, which we reference as West Hollywood. It's where West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and LA come together, just a few blocks up from the Beverly Center, between Beverly and Melrose. And then Pasadena is in the area called Lake Avenue. A lot of restaurants out there on Lake Avenue, across the street from the old Bullocks. The people in LA remember that. They apparently had a tea room, and your mother would take you to tea at Bullocks. It's now a Macy's. And right across the street on Del Mar, 899 Del Mar Boulevard, right at Lake Avenue. And a couple of other things I'll tell you that we have happening is, Josh, where you're going to take your lovely wife for Valentine's Day.
Real Foods Daily.
Thank you. Real Food Daily. This is one of our biggest days of the year. We do a beautiful 4-course, plant-based, organic gourmet meal on Valentine's Day. Reservations only, 5:30 till I think the last booking is about 9:30, 9:45. Great wines to choose from. We also have a Wine Down Tuesday that we've started a couple of months ago. People are loving this. They're coming in and getting things like nori maki and our two-nut wrap, and they can get half price off both a glass or a bottle of wine. And we have some great organically grown wines made from organically grown grapes, as well as sustainable and biodynamic. Really interesting wine list I'm very proud of. And what else did I want to tell you? Brunch. We serve brunch now, Saturday and Sunday. It used to just be Sunday. We've opened it up on Saturday. Nowhere else in this town can you get this kind of brunch. Plant-based brunch, tofu scramble, French toast, pancakes, waffles, what else? Granola, my famous super hippie granola, which is in my second cookbook, Vegan Family Meals. Acai berry bowl with the granola and the acai berry. Love it, love it. Had that myself this weekend. So brunch is 10 to 3. Check it out if you haven't already. That's a great meal to introduce people to this way of eating. Brunch. People love brunch. And we've got all the regular brunch foods, and we've just, our little twist on them, doing them a little differently. Pure maple syrup, the commitment to the organic that we're bringing in with the flowers and the tofu and the fruit. Very proud of it. What else can I say? I love it when I come on your show, Josh. You just give me this great opportunity to promote Real Food Daily.
Oh, it's
I
my pleasure.
appreciate it so much.
It's my pleasure.
And I hope that your listeners today and your people that can see it through the podcast see this food, see how beautiful it is, see the color, see the simplicity of it, and whether they're home cooks or not, If they're not, I can certainly serve them at Real Food Daily.
Well, that sounds very good. That sounds very.
But I'm encouraging people to cook. It's really important, and I get it. People don't have time for it anymore, but it cannot become a lost art. And it's how we're going to turn this obesity epidemic that we have around in our country. You gotta feed kids at home.
Right.
They can't be eating junk food out of a box in the back of a car.
Right.
And
Right.
you've got to get them at home. And vegetables are a great thing to offer them. They're cheap, they're easy, you can find them anywhere. There's no excuse.
Right.
If you can't afford or find organically grown vegetables, then still buy vegetables. Don't cop out and think, well, I'm not going to do it because it wasn't grown organically. Go for it. Get vegetables wherever you can buy them. Walmart now is selling organically grown vegetables.
They are, yes, they are.
Yes, they are. In fact, I went to one once, and I bought some collard greens.
Yeah, was it a pleasant experience?
It was in Tennessee where I grew up, and it was an interesting experience, and I certainly, saw the power of, the good that they do, and then, also, in all the little towns in the South where, they've run all the mom and pop, shops out of business, and, everybody just goes to the one big box. That's sad,
Yes.
but, the terrain of America is changing on a lot of levels.
It is. Well, Ann Gentry of Real Foods Daily, it's been a pleasure having you on Here's to Your Health today.
Thank you.
And we'll have you back as soon as your new restaurant opens at the LAX airport.
Yes.
Very good.
Looking forward.
Thank you, Ann. You're listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Josh Lane. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, letterheads, church bulletins, funeral programs, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
Oh, your skin looks great.
Thank you.
What's your secret?
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence.
Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence?
Yes, it's a beauty secret used since the time of the Greeks and Romans. The spa in Malibu told me about frankincense and myrrh by Ancient Essence, and now my skin is lovely.
Well, your skin looks great.
Call Ancient Essence at 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Call 1-800-627-9813. Discover the secret. Frankincense and myrrh oil by Ancient Essence. Discover the secret of beautiful skin. Available at fine spas and beauty centers.
Walk, run, climb, play. Solgar number 7 can help. Feel the difference for yourself. Solgar number 7 actually shows improvement in joint comfort within 7 days. Now you can start to get back on track fast and pursue the activities you love. Solgar number 7 is a breakthrough in joint care with no glucosamine and no chondroitin. The advanced bioactives in Solgar number 7 help to increase flexibility, mobility, range of motion, and actually shows improvement within just 7 days. One capsule, once a day, is all you need. When stiff joints occasionally say no, Solgar number 7 says yes. Visit solgar.com and learn more about Solgar number 7 today. That's www.solgar.com, www.solgar.com. Solgar number 7, official sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. And our guest this segment is Raphael Cohen-Bakary. Raphael Cohen-Bakary is a pharmacist.
Thank you.
And she is the educator for Boron Homeopathic Products. And Raphael Cohen-Bakary is one of my series regulars. Her segment is very popular. Homeopathy continues to grow. And Raphael Cohen-Bakary, it's a pleasure having you on Here's to Your Health today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me
Thank
again.
you. And you come here for your monthly spot, and you talk about issues of importance that are in timely fashion. And now it's the flu season.
Yes,
The flu season.
I was telling you off the air that I wasn't planning on talking about oscillococcinum because we've talked about it before. And then I got the reports, from, the CDC and my company telling me that the flu is really picking up. Apparently it started pretty early this year, earlier than usually does. And it's a pretty mean, bad bug that we have around. And so I wanted to tell you how to try to stay safe. How to use Oscillo, of course, and also just to emphasize that oscillococcinum, that we shorten to Oscillo, it's not specifically for the flu, it's for all the flu-like symptoms. Because a lot of people get something very similar to the flu. It's not necessarily the flu virus, but the symptoms are the same. And homeopathy works mainly on symptoms. So you don't have to worry, is it really the flu? Should I wait to see how it turns around? Is it a cold? You don't have to worry about that. Just remember, the sooner the better.
Right.
I think it's a rule that's true for most medicines anyway, but even more so with the homeopathy. Really, you have to be more to listen to your body a little bit more than be less passive than we used to be with the conventional medicines, where we just go to the doctor and ask, take care of me. Here it's a little bit, you're more proactive, you're seeing what's going on in your body, you can feel the first aches or a little bit of fever or sore throat. Because I talked to a lot of people who got sick and the symptoms are very different.
Yes.
Some people got almost no fever, but a lot of body aches and really, really tired. Other people got more like a stomach flu thing, but still exhausted. So as soon as you feel something is wrong, or if you're around people who are sick, very important, especially in an office, people are coughing, you're using the same phone, the same mouse.
It's an issue.
Yeah, it is because, I would use the gel, the disinfecting, but how often? You can't really do it all the time. So if something is sick around you, take one dose of our, number one medicine.
And what's the name of this medicine again?
So it's called oscillococcinum. It's an old name.
Oscillococcinum.
Oscillococcinum. It's like oscillation and coxy. It's a combination of two words. It's an ancient, I don't know if it's ancient, but it's quite old. The first time, the doctor who invented it was after the big, Spanish flu epidemic.
In 1918?
Absolutely. So that's when you started.
Which killed millions of people, did it not? It was a really serious worldwide epidemic, or certainly the United States and Europe anyway.
Well, I think also they didn't have the hygiene rules, so it would spread because that's how it spread. Right?
Yes.
So, and homeopathy, especially at that time, homeopathic doctors were very big on hygiene. That's what makes it also successful because they were using homeopathy and also teaching people, basic rules not to get infected. So yeah, it's an old medicine. It has a very good track record as far as safety, efficacy. There are several research, several studies on oscillococcinum, and they all show that there's a clear improvement within 48 hours.